We all know Rachel Reeves is full of lies, and to be fair, recent interviewers have been pretty tame on her for lying on her CV. This is until this morning, where the Chancellor was grilled over lies, and well, her response, laughable. In today's video, we will watch and react to this, all whilst going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we do have new One Keir t-shirts available on our website. Go to BritishStand.com or check the link in the description. So have a watch of this.
So this is your first appearance on Good Morning Britain since quite a few months, and certainly since allegations about you enhancing your CV, your personal CV, surfaced. That was in November, I think. As it is your first appearance on the programme since that story dropped, I think it's important that we ask you about it. We don't seek to embarrass you, but we'd just quickly like to go through it. It'll take me 20 seconds to summarise it. You told Stylist magazine that you'd worked at the Bank of England for a decade. In fact, it was only 6 years, and one of those years was at the London School of Economics doing a master's course, so that's 5 years and not a decade. And in biographies that you'd actually endorsed, it was stated that you worked as an economist at the Bank of England, the British Embassy in Washington, and latterly at the Halifax Bank of Scotland. But according to your former colleagues, in your actual job, you actually worked in a support department at Scottish Bank, and you sort of helped out with admin and IT, and that's all earned you the nickname of Rachel from Accounts. Did you enhance your CV to make yourself look better qualified to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer if you won the election?
I'm really proud of the jobs that I did before I became a Member of Parliament. I worked at the Bank of England in the international area, working on investment and productivity. I worked as the second Economic Secretary at the British Embassy in Washington. I've done an undergraduate degree in PPE, a master's from the London School of Economics in economics, and then I worked in the private sector, where I worked for Halifax Bank of Scotland, working in Halifax in West Yorkshire and around the country. Heading up teams both in the mortgages area and in the retail operations.
Why did you say that you'd worked at the Bank of England for a decade when in fact it was, well, it wasn't even 6 years, it was 5? I mean, that's exaggeration, isn't it?
Well, I worked at the Bank of England for 6 years, between 2000 and 2006. I was employed by the Bank of England, including I spent just over a year at the British Embassy working in the economics section there, supporting the government and the bank.
Why did you say it was a decade?
Well, I think you're taking... it's one interview. I worked at the Bank of England for 6 years. I worked for then at Halifax Bank of Scotland, I think, for 3 years after that. I became an MP when I was 31. But I think in the end, people want to judge me on the job that I'm doing today as Chancellor of the Exchequer. I'm qualified to do this job. But in the end, people are going to judge me. Am I growing the economy? Am I improving their living standards? And I'm determined to do just that.
This is how people reacted. This user said, she goes on to say people will judge her on the job she's doing now. Economic growth has crashed since she became Chancellor, so Labour are failing. Annie said, yep, we're judging you by the job you're doing, and frankly, my dear Rachel, you're ducking crap, being polite, LOL. This user said, honesty is always the best policy, especially on a CV. Lying can lead to trouble down the line. It's unfortunate that Rachel from Accounts felt the need to embellish her credentials. Hopefully, she'll learn from this experience and be more truthful in the future. Integrity matters, and it's essential to maintain trust in the workplace. Let's hope Rachel takes this as an opportunity to grow and become a better version of herself. Adrian said, good job she was in Driffield for that interview, as I start drifting off when listening to her speak. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In other news, a 12-year-old girl was viciously attacked by an XL bully dog that jumped on her back and latched onto her arm in Nantiglow, South Wales. The incident occurred in the early evening on October 7th when the dog, named Rocco and weighing between 7 and 8 stone, ran at high speed towards the victim. The girl described hearing shouting behind her before turning to see the growling dog approaching. Prosecutor Lisa Lewis told Newport Crown Court. Her father bravely wrestled with the dog after it had bitten a chunk from her arm, leaving the bone and tendons exposed. The dog's owner, Justin Allison, was described as showing little urgency in helping, with witnesses saying he didn't seem bothered, as the girl shouted for help in the middle of the road. Alison, 38, from Ebw Vale, was jailed for 3 years at Newport Crown Court on Wednesday after pleading guilty to multiple charges. The unemployed father of 2 admitted possessing a banned breed without a license and being in charge of a dog dangerously out of control in a public place. He also pleaded guilty to possessing an offensive weapon after police found a butterfly knife in his bedroom. The court heard Alison had bought Rocco as a puppy for £1,000 despite being on benefits for many years. The XL bully, which was unregistered with police though known to local vets as Rocco the Dude, was later seized and humanely destroyed. Alison was additionally banned from owning dogs for 10 years. In a victim impact statement read to the court, the girl described the attack as a bad dream and expressed worry about losing the use of her arm. "I was housebound for weeks after the incident. I couldn't sleep in my own bed," she said. The court heard she was unable to attend school for 6 weeks, missing her friends and feeling excluded. The attack forced dramatic changes to her previously active lifestyle, preventing her from participating in karate, rugby, gymnastics, and athletics. The incident has left lasting psychological scars, with the girl saying she hardly left the house anymore and becomes frightened when seeing stray dogs. Her family has since given up their own dog as they could no longer feel completely safe. Sentencing Alison, Judge Daniel Williams condemned his reckless disregard for the safety of others. "You put enhancing your status, putting swagger in your step, above the safety of anyone else," the judge told him. The court heard Alison's only barrier to prevent the dog entering public areas was a plastic bin at the side of his house. Detective Chief Inspector Virginia Davies of Gwent Police said, "Alison failed to keep his dog under control and a girl was viciously attacked, causing serious injuries. This case should serve as a reminder to all dog owners of the importance of having your dog under control at all times," she added. Lastly, King Charles has demonstrated an encyclopedic knowledge of every area in Britain, according to MPs who attended a recent Buckingham Palace reception. The monarch hosted around 270 MPs and 45 peers in the state ballroom, welcoming those newly elected or ennobled alongside his wife, Queen Camilla. Paul Wall, Labour MP for Rochdale, praised the King's extensive regional knowledge, saying, "He's impeccably polite and knows a lot about every constituency. He's got an incredible encyclopedic knowledge of every area of the UK." The reception was attended by prominent political figures including Sir Keir Starmer, Kemi Badenoch, and former Prime Minister Theresa May. The King and Queen were joined by the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester for the event. MPs shared specific examples of the King's detailed regional knowledge during the reception. When discussing Rochdale with Paul Wall MP, the King responded with laughter when asked if he shopped at the Co-op supermarket, which originated in the town. Ealing Southall MP Deirdre Costigan revealed the monarch was aware her constituency was known as Little India and had a significant Sikh community. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.